Welcome to Business Amplified with host Kevin A. Dunlap.
This podcast is for small business owners aiming to amplify their enterprises.
Explore strategies to play a bigger game by becoming an author, public speaker, podcast host, or expanding your brand in other ways.
Elevate your business on Business Amplified.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Business Amplified. Today, we're going to be going all the way to Bali, Indonesia, and we're going to be talking with a Roberto. He's originally from Venice, Italy, and I'm very much looking forward to what he has to say. And this is one of our first international calls that we've had so far. However, I do feel we're going to be able to learn a lot of great information. So, Roberto, welcome to the show.
Hello, and thank you for having me today.
So, Roberto, tell us a little bit about yourself. Who are you? What is it that you do? And why is it that you do it?
All right, sure. I'm Italian, as you announced before. I've been living a little bit around the globe in the States for a few years, and now it's 20 years that I am in Southeast Asia. I'm into technology, emerging technology, since I was a little kid. I'm a little bit a collector of gadgets and different things. And in my profession, I apply emerging technology to businesses. So in the past 10 plus years between AI and blockchain and decentralization is what I do in terms of consulting, setting up companies. Now I'm involved with the Play-twerk game. So there are several different things in this field. I love it because my job is something I like and I would do in my free time as a hobby. So it's something that really brings a lot of satisfaction and also help me support my family because I have 4 kids. Actually, the first is old enough and living with his girlfriend, but the other 3 are still younger and they live with me.
Okay, so I'm glad that you said that, because one of the things about as people are becoming entrepreneurs is that they need to do something that they love. And I've said this quite a few times over the years. Like I ask somebody, assuming they have a job or their business is your classic Monday through Friday 9 to 5. And if I ask that person, like, as a self-employed person, asking, what is your favorite hour of the week, and they say 5 o'clock on Friday, obviously they don't enjoy what they're doing. But if they say 8:59 a.m. on a Monday morning, they love what they're doing. So I'm assuming you're that person that would say 8:59 a.m. on a Monday morning, because you get to go to work, you get to do what you love. Is that correct?
Yeah, I had time in the past where weekend were a little bit, a moment of anxiety because now people to relate to. It was a difference in moment where the social interaction are all at work and there are less outside work. But the God now is no more like this. It's also true that every day is a working day after all. When you have a lot of things in your head, simply there is no stop on being focused on what's going on at work anyway. So it is a little bit of a necessity to love what you do, because if you don't, then it becomes a nightmare, I guess.
Well, it becomes a job where you're working for yourself. So I mean, if you don't love what you're doing, then it's going to show up in the results that you're providing to other people. Because if you're not passionate about it, then it's not going to show up.
Yeah, I saw people that they love making money. Doesn't matter which is the means that they use to do that. So they really space from one job to a completely different one because they would love to achieve the goal of cashing in money. If love is into technology solutions and other things, like consulting and providing, the right direction for a company, then it is a different kind of thing. So obviously focus around the skill set that somebody has put together and the experience somebody pile up, and the ability also to share with others, what you have learned in order to return back what has been the blessing that somebody has had in life in order to then make a profession, create a profession, and also a career. It's interesting when somebody has a very big talent and builds a company around this talent, and it starts shifting from doing what his talent was in becoming a manager for the company that has built around this talent. And this is dangerous. So when somebody has a good talent, they should stay there and hire his own management on top of him, and keep doing what the talent is. So let's say somebody is very good in coming out with idea, do R&D, etc., which can create business. Does it make sense to spend his time there sitting writing quotation or doing meetings that are not focalized to the work that this person can put in place? So it's something I saw many times happening to people that had a very good talent, a good opportunity, and then shifted from doing what they were loving to something they don't like anymore.
So you say you work in the tech industry. What kind of tech? And even you mentioned AI as well. So what kind of tech stuff do you do so that the viewers and the listeners can see if you are a good fit for what they would need or would require?
Sure, I am specialized in decentralized systems, so system that mostly work in a peer-to-peer network, particularly blockchain, but not only, cryptography and the like. So in this with this skill set, there are a lot of things that come together. So decentralized system are usually adopted by consortiums of particular industries, by supply chain, by all those places where there are multiple companies working together. They don't want to elect one particular party to manage their data, or one particular party they need to trust to be the filter of what's happening between them. So sometimes they choose to come together and put together a network for them to work one with the other. And the decentralizing it means that each of them is like one node of the network, and they don't need to rely on one particular party to be the handler of data and the guarantor of the quality of this data. So with this new technology, there is this opportunity. Artificial intelligence is something I'm now a deep expert on, but I've been working for many years just because I'm fascinated by it. And I think that recently, when people start working with ChatGPT, I think he has fascinated the full planet. is a tool that is gonna change the future a lot. So in a very more direct visual way compared to technology that are behind the scene on what we do, like blockchain, for example.
Well, can you explain a little bit about blockchain? I know people that have invested in cryptocurrency. They hear blockchain, that they hear that terminology, and I get it. There's different companies that are working together and they're exchanging data. But can you explain to the general layman what is blockchain and how does that work?
Sure. Okay, blockchain is a new recipe made with all the ingredients. So say there is there's been a solution put together for a particular need. That was the one of Bitcoin, of having something decentralized. But the use of blockchain for cryptocurrency is just one small part of all the things that can be done with it. And we're moving finally outside that. Sure, being something that related to money has raised the attention of the planet. I always say blockchain was an invention for a hairdresser. Probably nobody will know it today. So having touched a very sensitive aspect of life, which is money, has emerged. But let's say that what is the big advancement that the blockchain brings in the era of information that we are living, is the capacity to create a singularity, uniqueness of digital assets. So practically, if I have an MP3 file and I make the copies, I can share them around. You don't know which is the original one because they're identical bytes, one to the other. But at the same time, if I have a Bitcoin, I cannot make a copy of the Bitcoin and give it to you, because if I could do that, the Bitcoin will be worth zero. So in the moment that I transfer my Bitcoin to you, I don't have it anymore. The moment that I transfer one NFT to you, I don't have it anymore. And this enables a lot of possibilities that before did not exist. So I can put a certificate of ownership of a car in the form of an NFT, if you want. But just easy just to explain to people, but using the same technology. So if the officer stopped me in the road, they can verify that the cars belong to me. If I was speeding, they can give me a fine on a driver license that is on the same basis technology, and where it's easy to then go to court or pay the fine. So it is a way to guarantee all the parties that need to use the data that are managed, that the data is the original one, is the unique one, and is the one that we refer to, and not a copy, falsified version of it, etc., etc. On top of it, it guarantees that the rules between the parties that work on this data can be written down in a clear way and must be respected, because if they're not respected, they are automatically rejected. So this is a little bit the key aspect of what blockchain and the likes have brought in the today world. So that is allowed to do cryptocurrency, yes, but allowed to do a lot of more things that that's exactly what I do as work. I do the consulting, I put together teams for implementation, and then implement the solution for the client, for my company, or in their own team, in their own office.
So, just out of curiosity, what kind of people do you like to work with? Are you? Is this a company that you own yourself? That you do this work, or is it something that you work for somebody else? And in either case, who are you looking for as a client?
So I do consulting individually as a person, but I started in 2017 a company called Blockchain Zoo that was like a very boutique consulting and implementation of decentralized solution. This ran until 1 year ago. Then I took a little bit of sabbatic. I took some time off. I started mentoring startup. I entered into two interesting startups, one based on artificial intelligence that we've been funded 25 million recently, and another one that is a Play-twerk, is like an add-on for flight simulator for people that use flight simulator to give a layer of the economic aspect of all the industry of aviation, also as a simulation. So those are two interesting aspects. And I keep doing consulting. Clients usually are industries that are shifting to, I give an analogy. When digital camera came out, you had all this shop that had the big Kodak machine that you put the roll inside and automatically you press a button, Homer Simpson style, and the photo comes out developed automatically, right? And when digital camera came out, few decided to upgrade, started to learn to do digital photo retouch, printing for digital images. Others didn't, and Blockbuster style, they went bankrupt and they went out of business. So many companies, they offer services where there is a documentation flow, for example, rather than management of warranty, insurances, or quality standards in the supply chain. And they were using all the methods, and they're still using all methods. They want to understand what it means to now shift into the new wave of technology, not to end up like the Kodak shop or Blockbuster, if you want.
Well, I remember the 110 films, or even in my younger days, I had a regular film camera, and I had to go to a photography or a photo processing thing to see if it's just to even see if the photo came out clear or not. Like maybe I'm taking the photo and my finger is covering the lens, like, oh, well, that one was wasted.
Right.
But yeah, I do get that. And I've had this conversation several times. Is that people, if they're running their businesses, they have to adapt to new technology, because
Yes,
the thing is that new technology is here to stay, and if you don't adapt to it, you're going to go you're going to go out of business. And you talked about film. I often talk about, say, if you had a bicycle shop, and you love selling bicycles, you love to see the joy on people's faces. And then this new fad came on. He said, "This is a fad. This will never catch on. This internet thing doesn't. That's just a fad. Nobody's going to want to buy something that I have it mailed to them. No, they wouldn't go to the actual shop. That person, that bicycle shop that did not adapt to the internet, or Kodak not adapting to digital film processing, or you also mentioned Blockbuster not doing online rentals, or making it more convenient, get away from the VHS tapes to DVDs. Yeah, if you don't adapt to new technologies, then yes, you're going to go out of business. I mean, and I feel the same way even with AI. AI, in my opinion, went mainstream and probably later 2022, early 2023. That's when it started catching on, and now it is all the rage. And if you don't adapt to that, then yes, you're going to go out of business now. Now, how can somebody start adapting to, say, like you were saying, into the blockchain universe? Because to me, that is still very new. I'm still doing a lot of things older school ways. How can the general person adapt to that kind of new technology?
So usually what happen in, I would say 95% of the cases where I do successful consulting, the CEO, the founder, or the leader of the company in a particular industry has a gut feelings that they need to do something. He doesn't really know why or what. And
Okay.
they call somebody like me to do first encounter. Is a very beautiful chat where they explain what they do in business, how they work with their client, with the supplier, and based on their narration, there are some questions and some comments on my side where I can start asking, but can this become better if done like that? Is I know your competitor doing things in this way, etc., etc. And I had incredible stories of people that could not see something and then they realize finally. So sometimes they invest in R&D, a little bit of experimentation. They don't want to lose, they don't leave what they're doing correctly. They keep doing it, but they put some money into experimenting how something new like this. So there is an MVP done, like something that is at the minimum effect to see how it can be adopted, how it can be integrated with what they do. And sometimes the difference is very strong. They reduce their losses a lot. Sometimes even in processes that are between their company and other company they work with, removing a lot of human errors in the processes, a lot of need of recalculation of amounts. So there are a lot of interesting application of these technologies, which expanded to mobile application, for example, that integrate with the system. So giving people the tools to operate these sort of things. And I help setting up the whole implementation deliverable of the product, and something that pays well to me and to my company, and saves money to the client. So at the end is a win-win, usually in most of the terms. In clients that also have a investment done, they can also promote their company in a better way when they can show that they are moving on with the rest of the technologies, so the advancement in technology.
So what kind of industry, what kind of small business owner industry that you work with? Because if there, so I've got a friend of mine. He has a business for, I guess it's like medical billing. So he collects people's or patient data and helps them with their with their medical information as they go from one hospital to the next hospital, because a lot of hospitals have different systems. So I know he's very data heavy. Now, what kind of businesses or industries do you tend to want to work with, or do you tend that needs to be working with you?
Look, the beauty of software development in general is the fact that everybody needs it. If I look at my past, I did experience with a company that machinery to cut marble slabs, with archaeologists, with the plastic surgeon. So I implemented software, or a direct implementation of software in so many differentiated industries, which gave me a very interesting culture, because you get to learn the details of the things in order to be able to do the application to satisfy that. In the specific of decentralization and peer-to-peer systems, I started in 2013 to do experiments for banks between here in Southeast Asia, Singapore, Malaysia, and I did POCs with several banks on trade finance, for example, in all the trade processes, documentation processes in trade with a large company that was doing trading. So all the documentation, for example, in trade finance, sometimes you hear people saying, oh, the stuff is already at the port in the container, but I don't have the document to go collect these things. So, speeding up this process, verification of the documentation, and letting people in different countries, in different industries. So you have the freight forwarder, the captain of a ship, rather than, Chamber of Commerce in different parts of the planet, insurances, that they all need to chip in, giving them a platform where they can participate without having to sign a big legal document or rule book, because it's like a phone network, right, where they can integrate their system. So it became a very strong advantages. But outside the banking industry, I did, for example, assetization of racehorses. A racehorse can cost up to millions, and it's costing money even before it's born, because you need to find the stallion and the mare in order to get the baby born, and this is an investment. So how do you manage an investment of an asset that changes completely along its life, from before it's born to when it's born, a lot of veterinary expenses, then a lot of training, then he starts racing, and after he races, finishes old, and then he's managed different. So it's a very particular kind of asset that has a life inside. So, and the rules for managing ownership of horses are very different country by country. Also, so you need to create a system that satisfy a lot of different requirements. We did the system to book advertising space along shopping malls, or to rent, spaces to put some selling space, all managed with blockchain. I mean, I'm just giving you some example, but loyalty points for hotel chains, rather than a lot of different things. Is interesting. So wherever there are different location, different party, possibly in different countries as well, these tools helps a lot bypass and overcome regulatory limits, because it is a layer that stays underneath. So people still comply with the regulators, but have a tool to work in a very fast way. I did a supply chain for fruit juices, for example, in the coffee, several different things that are all in needed to optimize their way. It's not a magic thing that solve all the problem, but brings a much better solution to a lot of hurdles that are there in current systems.
No, so you've been in business for a few years. What would you say has been some of your biggest challenges, and how did you get past those challenges?
All right. This is a particular thing. If I think in the regular business aspect, maybe the racehorses, client has been one of the most interesting. In terms of a consultant, the biggest challenge is the client that wants. There are some clients that want you to tell them what they want to hear, and not what you actually need to tell them. And this is a very annoying, a difficult challenge, I think. But personally, still in business, I think the biggest things that I face is when I had a very particular idea for a new technology, and I wanted to prove that my idea was actually good, so that it can actually work. And I invested a lot, I'm talking about millions of dollars personally, to prove that I was right. I would never use somebody else's money and fail in delivering these things. So the only way was to bet myself. And, it worked. So I own a very powerful intellectual property on something that can be deployed, still very advanced as of today. And now the challenge becomes the one to, at this time, yes, find some partnership with somebody that will finance the remaining part of the project. But it's a very, very interesting thing. So decentralizing applications of more importance than what current system can do, like with smart contract, other things. So this is something that is in the next future, but with no rush, done properly with the right people.
Okay. Well, and I can kind of understand where you're coming from. Is it like somebody that is hiring you and they want to hear what they want to hear, not what they think is right. And the fact that they are coming to you because you're the expert in your field, you're the one that is the expert. Now they will have either little to no knowledge to what kind of results they can get by working with you. So I can definitely see where that would be a large challenge. Now let's talk about some of your successes. Now, what was, let's say, one of your biggest successes since you started your business?
Okay, just going back to what I just said, proving that my idea was actually correct in this new technology has been a personal satisfaction. But if I look back in my career, when I was 20 something, I know I look 25, but I'm actually 50 this year. So I had a back history of a lot of years. I started studying computer programming when I was 5 years old. So in fact, I have a lot of years of doing this thing. I did a lot of software, as I was talking before, for different use cases. One is for law enforcement and a system to do investigation, intelligence for law enforcement. And I've been doing this for several years, living my daily life together with the anti-drug unit of Northeast Italy, where I was staying, which has been an experience that there is no movie to match. It's been fantastic. And also gave me a huge quantity of insight in investigation methodologies and other things. So being internet at the early days at the time, I started applying what I learned in terms of investigation to this world of the internet. And I found several interesting scams that were being done in full relax because there was not yet law enforcement that would chase this kind of crime. And I had a thank you letter for at the time President Clinton that because I provided all the information to this small office that was at the White House that was the early heart of implementing like a task force for the FBI to follow this sort of crime. So this has been a very, very big satisfaction and success for what I was doing, right? Even you didn't pay any money, but it was been interesting. Yes.
I think it sounds like you are an early innovator, or you integrate. 'Cause like you said, you got in early on the internet, you got in early on AI, you got in early on a lot of other things, and therefore you've got your finger on the pulse. You know what's going on out there. So if people wanted to find out more about you and possibly to even maybe have a time to chat with you, what's the best way for them to contact you?
Right. In LinkedIn, my username is RC10. So the classic linkedin.com/in/RC10. Or in WhatsApp, a very easy way to reach my number is +39 and X computer. So plus X computer. That will be my WhatsApp direct connection. I don't know. It works with the United States where people can translate numbers in letters. In the rest of the world, nobody does this, but it's a very easy way to reach me. Or just Google my name. I guess if you're publishing this in the description, there will be a couple of links probably.
You will definitely have your links and your contact information in the show notes. Your name is going to be part of the title of the podcast, so they can search for you that way. And guys, just be aware he is in Bali, Indonesia. We were talking before the show. I'm in Raleigh, North Carolina, so I'm at -5 Greenwich Mean Time or -5 GMT. He's +8 GMT. So just be aware if you're on the East Coast, he's 13 hours ahead of you. If you're on the West Coast, that's another 4 hours. He's 17 hours ahead of you. So don't be trying to give him a telephone call in the middle of your day because he's going to be asleep. So please text him first.
It's no problem. My phone is in silent mode if I'm sleeping, but I come from the future because 13 hours ahead. So people want to know what's happening in the future. They can just contact me, no problem.
Actually, well, Roberto, has been great having you on the show. Are there any other tidbits of information that you would like to tell the small business owners who are listening to the show?
Yeah, I get principally to look at technology innovation and ask yourself how new technology can improve the way that they do business. So that is probably for those that pay attention, even if it seems to be something completely far away from AI, from decentralization, there actually is something that can improve the way people work. And query search in the internet, watch YouTube videos. There is always something to learn. Technology is important and nice.
That is well said, because like we said before, going from a regular film to digital film, going on the internet, going new technologies, going into AI, going into blockchain. If you're interested in growing your business, especially if it's going to be on a technology wise, I would strongly recommend reaching out to Roberto, because he's got his finger on the pulse. He's got something. I'm sure he's got things that you have never even thought of. Because one of the biggest things I've found when I work with entrepreneurs, especially when they're just starting to build their business, there's a lot of stuff that they don't know that they don't know, and Roberto is a person that knows.
Thank you.
So you definitely want to reach out to him. And again, his contact information and his LinkedIn profile is going to be in the notes. Also, for those of you that are listening to this show and you feel like you're an expert in an area that you like to share with us, go ahead and also schedule a time with us. And you just go to businessamplified.net/pre-interview, and we'll do a 15-minute pre-interview to see if you're a good fit for the show. So going back to Roberto here, Roberto, any last words before we go?
I would like to just wish everybody a fantastic 2024 ahead. It's going to be the year of robotics. We had the AI last year. We had many other technology before. Watch out for robotics with applied artificial intelligence, because this is when it's going to be big in 2024.
Yeah, every time we watch movies like I, Robot or whatever of the future, we see robots are living amongst us. There's so many movies like I, Robot, Bicentennial Man. There's so many, and if you want to go down the Star Trek route, you've got Data. So you got robotics living amongst us. So that is probably something that we'll probably be seeing within the next few years. So Roberto, I want to say thank you for taking the time out. I know it's late there for you, but I want to say thank you for taking the time out to be on this show. And everybody, I just want to say until next time, be amazing.
Thanks for tuning in to another empowering episode of Business Amplified with Kevin A. Dunlap.
If you found value in today's insights, don't forget to subscribe, rate, and share the podcast.
Keep amplifying your business. And remember, your success journey is our inspiration.
Until next time on Business Amplified, go out there and make your business thrive.